So I see a few JC shirts out here. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I do want to say that we are, I will have some shirts available over there. And for those of you that are interested, I'm just saying, my shirts, we did a special order thing. My shirts have all of the red ink is made with Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley's blood. Thank you. So get them now while they last. They're not going to be there very long. And I have no idea where I'm going with that. I'm sorry. I have no filter. It's going to happen. So many years ago, I did a record. I had the very good fortune of my first record. I was able to work with a lovely English gentleman named Eddie Kramer. Anybody know Eddie? You got this? So for those of you who don't know who Eddie Kramer is, he's this legendary producer that produced every note of music that Jimi Hendrix recorded. He did 3 or 4 Zeppelin records, all the Kiss Alive stuff, Frampton Comes Alive. He worked with Humble Pie, the Beatles, the Stones, and this guy. And anyway, so when we were doing the record, and just so you know, as I go along here, you're going to realize very soon, I'm like every other singer. I love hearing the sound of my own voice. So I'm going to be telling you stories. Probably some of them are a bit too long, but like I said earlier, I've got the mic. Try and stop me. Anyway, so this we're doing the Scream record in Los Angeles. And Eddie came to me and he said, all right, Crab, you're going to start singing tomorrow. So I want you to go, and I want you to go home, pay attention to your lyrics, pay attention to your melodies. I want you to come in, I want you to be prepared tomorrow. So I said, okay, I will do that. So I went home, and I was sitting on my couch in my dinky little apartment in Hollywood. And I was sitting on my couch with my guitar, and I was just kind of finalizing and making sure all the lyrics were okay. And I was sitting there with this thing we used to use back in the day called a paper and pen, unlike now with your little iPads and all your, you know, whatever. So I'm sitting there, and my son at the time, Ian, for those of you who know Ian, he was very, very little. He was running around, and this commercial came on the TV, and it was a public service announcement in LA, and it was this guy, you know, it's a father. And he's looking down, and you think that he's talking to his son, and he's saying things like, I wish you would have told me, I didn't know, I told you you could talk to me about anything. And as he's talking, the camera's panning out, and they get to the very end, and you realize that he's talking to a headstone. And then the commercial goes black. It says, teach your kids about drugs, which I think I've done very much all of Ian's life. I tell him what ones to buy and what ones to stay away from, which is a whole other story I'll tell you guys tomorrow. Anyway, I was very moved by this commercial. I sat down, I wrote this next song. Oddly enough, I brought it into the band the following day. The band said, we hate it, it's too country, it's just, we're not sure. But for some reason, Eddie Kramer listened to it with a different set of ears, and he said, no, this has to be on the record. So I'm going to play it for you now. Thank you, Eddie Kramer, wherever you are. This is called Father, Mother, Son. Father, thanks for playing with my friends and me. I'm glad we got to meet the man I know. Taught me honesty. You picked me up when I was feeling low. If I could talk to you one more time, I know you'd work things out just like before. Oh, that I did wrong, so I'm singing you this song. Father, I won't see you anymore. Mother, dry your eyes, why do you cry those tears? Knew someday your baby'd be a man. Letting go is hard when it's forever, dear. I know it's late, but now I understand. If I could hold her hand one more time and hear your lullabies just like before, I know that I did wrong, so I'm singing you this song. Mother, I won't see you anymore. Son, I wish you knew how much we're missing you. I saw them cry the tears from up above. I try to tell them, but the words aren't getting through. I didn't mean to hurt the ones I love. Mother, Father, I hope to see you soon, and things will be just like they were before. Sending all the love, I'm watching from